Okay, we live. Let me just check the connection. We good. Let's get this music in here. Y'all saw the caption. We going in today. We going in. Got to. I'm gonna try to give a few more minutes for D-Boy Slim to come in. He's doing some things at the moment. Little baby shower stuff, man. Making it happen. Okay. I want this to be a live discussion. So I need people on. I need you guys logged in. I need you guys making comments. Because that's what it's going to be about. Let's talk about it. Let's see. How's the music sound, y'all? Who's that who just chimed in? We're gonna give D-Boy a few more minutes to come on in, or else we're just gonna get this thing started. He'll be here shortly, either way. Ooh, Bloods, Crips, and Essays. Facts. I should have known. I should have known it was you. Give me a couple minutes, man. We're just waiting for D-Boy to come on in. This is a special topic, man. I know you guys saw or may have heard, Charlamagne on the Breakfast Club talk about how he gave himself Donkey of the Day. So he was stupid for not realizing how much of a rape culture we grew up in. The effect of it. How many things we just took for granted. I mean, the entire industry of entertainment. And guess what? Let's be real. What Harvey Weinstein, Louis C.K., Spacey, it's pure nastiness. Like, I didn't even know people just like to jack off in front of girls who don't want it. Like, I had no idea that was what was going on. But if you're being honest with yourself, we've heard him make those types of jokes. If we're being honest with ourselves, we've heard this type of stuff being accused of, being put out there from a long time ago from a lot of the Hollywood execs. We're going to talk about that. We got about 1 minute left. If he's not here, we're going to go ahead with the intro. Well, we also got to talk about hip-hop now. Charlamagne has some good points. We're going to talk about power dynamic. We're going to talk about the fact that, oh man, Louis C.K., you know what? I think it's time. Hopefully more people join in. Right quick though, Bloods, Crips, and Essays, talk to me. Before we get this thing started, before I do the intro, what's your thoughts? Well, I don't really smoke. That's kind of what it is. I drink, he smokes. I don't really smoke, man. It usually makes me tired. I'm gonna tell you what. I'm an advocate. I'm a part of a company, as you know, TBC, the Bud Craft, where it's legal, actually we have the best of all kinds of cannabis medicine and recreation. Only where it's legal, which is why we're fighting. I'm actually fighting for the cause to legalize marijuana. I'm a big advocate. I just don't smoke that much. I couldn't even tell you why. Well, I can tell you why. I don't, because it makes me tired, and I'm not as eloquent in my speech. That's all it comes down to. So, it's funny. It does. It feels like a change is happening, man. Peace, time to work. Good to see you again. It's been a while. It feels like a change is happening. And we're going to get into that. I'm about to do my intro in 1 second. I'm trying to stall for D-Boy because I know he wants to be a part of this. He's out working. But question, or no, to talk back to you, Blood, Scripts, and Essays, it does feel like a tipping point. It feels like things are changing because what happens when people start to talk about people who they didn't think could be touched and they realize that their life isn't over, they realize they still have a career, they realize that their retribution, people started to believe them. What that did, all the people who were scared to talk before now say to themselves, you know what? Maybe if I talk, it's not that bad. Maybe if I say something, I can still work in this industry. Look at the examples. Look at after Harvey Weinstein, it blew up. It blew up because people started to get the courage to say, well, wait a minute. If you can take down someone as big as one of the biggest Hollywood producers, then I can tell my story and probably still have a job tomorrow. Or people will actually believe me more than likely. Because the truth is, before, nobody would believe you. Who the heck is going to believe you? Louis C.K.? That's one of my favorite comedians. A year ago, if I heard this, and I probably did and pushed it off, the secrets will be revealed. This is the age of Aquarius. Facts, time to work. I probably would have been like, no way, man, no way. Not Louis. He's too real. But simply because of what has been happening for the past few months, now when you hear it, you don't automatically go, no way. Now the first thing you think is, really? Could that be true? And that's all they was ever asking for. That doesn't mean there's no false accusations, and we don't want to act like there isn't any more false. Every time somebody says this happened, that means it happened. But one thing that we have to realize is that the culture has been so much. He seems like a pervert. Well, now you look back at it and he seems like a pervert. I thought he was being funny. I thought he was hilarious. But now that you look back, you go, man, he got a lot of jokes about masturbating all the time. Like, whoa. I mean, dang. Are you 16 still, or like what's happening out here? And you look back and you say, yeah, now I see it. But we were raised in what Charlamagne identified as a rape culture, and I think that it's true. You look at the examples he gave. I'll tell you what. Let's get this thing started. Before I go any further, you're watching The Basement, people. Get your drinks ready, get your popcorn ready. Cheers. Welcome to The Basement. My name is Bruce Lively. D-Boy Slim should be here shortly. He's my co-host. And The Basement is the first daily hip-hop debate show. From Tuesday through Friday, we talk with the most intriguing topics in hip-hop culture and the world around it. I can't stand Charlamagne, I feel you. And the world around it. Welcome back, Basement family. Today, Charlamagne gave himself Donkey of the Day, saying that he feels stupid for not noticing how many people have been raised in a rape culture. And this is especially after Louis C.K., which I'm going to talk about, was accused and has now admitted to the allegations of his sexual misconduct. Listen, we're going to talk about this. Louis C.K., Harvey Weinstein, Kevin Spacey. Listen, countless others in Hollywood. And quite frankly, let's be real, people. You're on this show because it's a hip-hop show. Quite frankly, we're going to talk about the hip-hop culture. Get ready. Listen. Leave those comments, people. We need you guys. Share and like. Link this to your Facebook. Do it on all platforms. Subscribe. And before we get started, you already know our number one sponsors are the Fleetwood Spice Collection. Check them out. TheFleetwoodSpiceCollection.com. I mean, for a spice-changing experience, you need to go with them. Big, bold flavors, unlike anything you've tried. And they go well with almost anything. We haven't found anything bad on it yet. We'll be giving away free spices next week, actually, so stay tuned. But today, it's not a debate. It's a discussion. I'm sure when D-Boy gets here, it's going to be turned into a debate. He said Christopher Columbus was the most prolific serial rapist of all time. Facts. We were started in that way. But let's not forget that he's not the first nor the last. Male-dominated cultures usually end up becoming that way because we don't understand our power. Anyway, the discussion is growing up in the rape culture of entertainment. Everybody, please talk. I will respond to what you're saying. If I miss it, type it again. If we're going really fast. There's not too many people on here, so I should see everything. But I'm going to start here. After Harvey Weinstein, Kevin Spacey, Jeremy Piven, Brett Ratner, Dustin Hoffman being accused. Nelly, Mystical. I mean, how long have we been dealing with this? After all of this has reached a head, which I believe it has, it's time for us to look. Men and women alike, it's time for us to look at what we thought was okay. Now, I'm going to start with Louis C.K. and I'm going to go into Charlamagne. I know you guys might be looking for the Charlamagne points, but I got somebody who really wants to hear what I got to say about Louis C.K. Let's talk about it. First, if you don't know what happened, 5 different women said that he jacked off in front of them in a hotel room or asked them to do so, and some say over the phone. So it's even less control when it's like that. He wrote a letter today saying he was sorry. He basically admitted to all of it. It's not fake. And, you say, man, he's gross, he's disgusting. But another thing that's also true, that's not denied in that letter, he said he asked every single one of them, could he do it? Hey, let me jack off in front of you. Hey, watch me while I jack off. Yes, literally. And so we say to ourselves, well, man, someone like me says, and let me see who, I want to make sure I get her name right. Rebecca Corey in 2012 says he asked her, could he masturbate in front of her? And she said no. The other ones, he said he's always asked beforehand, and they said yes. Is that a problem? Is that sexual misconduct? Is that rape? No, not rape, but it is sexual misconduct. Let me tell you why. Just because you ask somebody and they say yes, doesn't mean that you're not putting them in a funny position if you're the one in power. Men, we have to remember, and we're going to get to this when we talk about Ain't Nothing But a G-Thang video. When we talk about pouring champagne on hoes, the word hoes, how easily it is to be used. We talk about running trains and not asking, is she okay with that? Or is she forced to do it? You just show up. The person who was in power in this case was Louis C.K. He's in power because he's running the show, because usually it's his show that they're on, because there's someone that they look up to. He's someone that they look up to. You see, it's easy to say, well, they could have said no. First of all, he's gross for one. I've never in my life thought that I wanted to just jack off in front of a girl. Hey, watch me while I do this. Are you kidding me? These white folk crazy, man. Listen, but that's not to say that anything that we do in those videos is any better. I'm just saying, who jacks off into a tree trunk? Harvey Weinstein. I've never heard of that. I've heard of foot fetish. I even heard of back fetish. People like to look at women's backs or males' backs. Into the tree trunk while you look at me? Yo, it's getting crazy. But the main point is the power. It's the power. When someone controls your trajectory in your business, hold on, let me read this. You know, it wasn't the first time. A lot of women must have said yes. Some said yes. Oh, come on. Some said yes because they was cool, but a lot must have said yes because they were intimidated by the power and status. And that's exactly what I'm getting at. Because he asked the question in his bubble, he doesn't think he's doing anything wrong. He's just doing his perverted stuff and see who's down with it. But he never thought to think, if they said no, or if they told somebody, or if they were uncomfortable, would they still have a job tomorrow? How would I look at them when I come back on set? Are they scared? And you're right. I'm sure it's not only 5 women. I'm sure it's many more. Because you don't just start off doing something like that and then stop if that's your fetish. Like, you got to keep it going. So let's think about that. The power dynamic is what we're talking about. Let's see, the ones over the phone. And his I said this before, but you guys may not have seen this. The types of jokes Louis C.K. does. He's crass. He's always talking about masturbating, and it's always funny because it's stuff that me and you probably don't do every single day, the type of way he talks about masturbation. So it's hilarious when you hear about it, right? He said that's why all the fraternities and sororities do it. Exactly. Power. Power. You want to get into the fraternity or the sorority so badly. You're willing to let them take your clothes off, touch you in places you shouldn't be touched, draw things on you shouldn't be drawn, just to show that, hey, I'm down. Just to show, okay, oh, man. All right, D-Boy Slim says he's not coming. Well, it's just us tonight, y'all. Don't worry about it. He's busy, and I'm sure we'll get back on it Tuesday. But yeah, you're definitely right, time to work. That is why they do it in the sororities and in the fraternities. Because anybody who has power eventually can abuse it, and most people do. It's a disgusting business, entertainment business, because so many people look up to you, and so many people, and you can control other people's careers with one word or one phone call. That's serious. That's serious. So another thing that happens is because these people keep saying yes, your nastiness is reinforced. Harvey Weinstein, Louis C.K., your grossness gets reinforced to not that bad. It can't be that bad. Everybody loves it. Everybody says I can do it. Kevin Spacey, forcing himself on little boys. We've been hearing about this for years, and it was kind of presented as some sort of conspiracy theory. How many little boys, how much pedophilia is inside Hollywood. And it's like, yeah, I'm sure there's some, but come on, are you serious? Now we have to look at it. And now we're believing it. So guess what? Now they're going to start coming out in droves. The nastiness is unbelievable. It's an embarrassment, says Time to Work, that can be held over your head. That's why they call it a secret society. And you're right. So it can be held over your head. And it's meant to embarrass you. And you know that everyone else who's in that sorority, sorry, I'm not sure who that is. And you know that everyone else who's in that society, that fraternity, that sorority, supposedly has had to do it too. So it's a bond that you get. And that's one rape culture that is unbelievable to me. That's allowed to happen on college campuses. The other side of that is Harvey Weinstein, Louis C.K., they didn't have to go through it. And so that's even different. Like, you don't even have that to fall back on. You basically are saying, I'm your boss, show me something. Give me something. Watch me do something. Watch me masturbate into the trunk of this tree. Right? Hey, watch me sit down. Sit down over there. Look at me. Well, I can't even do it. Are you kidding me? But it's the power. It's the power of Time to Work. It's the power of Blood, Scripts, and Essays. You know what it is. It is ridiculous. Let's see what you guys say. Politicians are the worst when it comes to this. Wait till that gets blown out the water. Oh, you know it. You know it. No one has more power. Entertainment has a seductive power over everybody. Especially, but the people who work in there, you know, you have a power as a boss. But there's nobody who has more power than senators, law enforcement, presidents, judges. These people literally make rules that you have to follow. Where there's no more power than that. And we know it's happened. We know it happens all the time. Those type of salacious things come out all the time about politicians. But most people don't say anything. So the ones that do come out are the brave ones, or the ones looking for political expediency. But now it's about to go down, and this is gonna be like a year-long thing. I promise you, this is gonna be a year-long. This ain't just gonna go away in a month or two, and everybody's gonna get their fill, and everybody's gonna talk about what they need to talk about. People are gonna make their apologies. Not everybody comes to the same conclusion at the same time that Charlamagne did. And to get to his point, let's talk about him now. Charlamagne said he gave himself donkey of the day because he felt like he's an idiot for not seeing the rape culture all around him, for not knowing that we grow up like this, and it could be detrimental to women or to the men that are abused, right? Who's going to be the first black person to get exposed? Well, I can tell you what, I doubt you'll see black people masturbating into a tree trunk, but we've seen black people get exposed. The Nellies and the Mysticals and the people who we say had to be wrong, now we have to go back and look at all the people who've been accused of rape in the hip-hop industry and say to ourselves, you know what? Maybe I was wrong for not believing this woman. Maybe I was wrong. Look at how easily we looked at Freaknik. Africa Bambaataa. Yeah, I KRS kind of defended him, and I was sick about that. But that's even grosser than I was getting to. Touching little kids is just, that's not just a power problem or a sick fetish. Like that is the worst of the worst. And we know that in any culture, kids have no say. They don't even know what sex is. So when you corrupt them like that, you're destroying a life and every other life that they touch after that when they get of age and are confused about sex. Anyway, we don't even get about Africa Bambaataa. Let's just talk about us. Freaknik. How many times did we see the camera go up when girls got their shirt taken off? How many times did the camera go up? They didn't have these cameras back then in Freaknik. It was like this, yeah. How many times did the camera go up when girls was walking down the street dancing and a guy come through and dragged her skirt down? Oh! How many girls thought that they had to do that in order to be a part of the celebration, even though they felt uncomfortable on the inside? All their friends are doing it. It's got to be okay. How many times did we hear about them getting groped and we're saying to ourselves, man, you knew what you was doing when you went to Freaknik. I did that. I'm going to be honest with you. I did that. And now I have to look at myself in the mirror and say, you know what, man? We live in a culture that says it's okay. Let's talk about Biker Weekend. Let's talk about our videos. Ain't nothing but a G thing, baby. Right? Right? Let me read this first before I go on. Blood Crips Essay says, good point. Rapists and molesters should be killed. Let's not forget about the Kobe Bryants and the Tupacs of the world and people that are falsely accused. I said it before. Due process must continue. We cannot, because we realize that we've been enlightened that it happens more than we thought it did, just negate due process from now on. We still have to go to court. We still have to get the admission or the proof, one or the other. But I will tell you this, I'm no longer going to just say, she just wanted money. I'm no longer just going to say, man, that's Pop. He couldn't have done it. You got to show me some proof before I convict him of something. But now my mind is open. And that's the point of this revolution that we're going through. Because that's what it is. This is a social revolution we're going through. And if we don't open our eyes to it, we're going to be left behind and find ourselves in a frigged up way. That they accuse the black people right away, and they will get the elite. Ooh, I missed it. Accuse the black people right away, and will give the rich elite therapy. I agree. That's facts. That's facts. I don't like Dr. Phil, but he did say on an interview that he doesn't even believe in sex addiction. I don't think that's true. I think sex addiction can be real. Anything can become an addiction when it controls your life and your day-to-day processes. But I will say the whole idea that, well, I was an addict, I went to rehab for 3 weeks and came back, and now I'm fine. I'm not gonna jack off in front of any more girls or trees. I'm not gonna jack off a roof and let it drop to the ground and see who it hits anymore. I'm cured. 3 weeks. And when a black person does it, you know. Especially if they're big. Africa Bambaataa, it was really just for us. Like, we knew about it. But he doesn't have a big enough name for them to make an example of. Let that have been Denzel Washington. Oh, you know. I just missed what you had to say, Time to Work. Let that be Denzel Washington. He said, Time to Work says, this is nothing new. Black people just don't want to leave Elysium. I like that reference. Escapism is my people's new best friend. Old best friend. Old best friend. I like to think things are changing. I like to think that we're looking at ourselves from not just the oppressor's point of view. We're looking at ourselves from our personal point of view, from our human point of view, and we're starting to climb these ladders that they put in front of us, that kept us down here and kept us having to escape in order to survive. I think that's changing, Time to Work. But I do want to start talking about these videos. I haven't seen as many of them, but maybe that's because I just don't listen to the young music like I used to. But how much did we used to just grope and grab and spray on girls? How much fun was it to talk about this girl who showed her stuff or run the trains like this and talk about it. Like we used to talk about, just give me head and go. Oh, that dude crazy. What that dude? He just told a girl, just suck me off and leave, and thinks that didn't affect her in some way. That she wasn't affected by that because she's just an object. We grew up in objectifying women. In hip-hop culture, they do it all over in entertainment. We're not the only ones. They do it to themselves. Your Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera's, your Beyonce, they become objects on stage. Nothing but bikinis and panties all the time. And we think it's cool. And I'm not saying they don't have a right to do it, but the culture we've grown up in has been that of you can objectify a woman anytime you want. And if you're a woman and do it, that's the culture of I'm in power and I can do anything I want to anybody under me. You don't believe it? Ask the dude who accused Mariah Carey of the same thing. Sexual misconduct. I need somebody to talk to me on this. Who knew about that? Who here knew about that? We're not going to go too long, but who here knew about that? Some dude said that he was hired or a driver was moving clothes and suitcases out of Mariah Carey's room. She was scantily clad, right? Scantily clad. And what's the first thing we say? Nigga, you said what? I'm right there. Let me see. But it's not about us. It's about that guy. He might have been gay. He might have been married and didn't want to put himself in a funny situation. Or he might have been, guess what? A professional. And doesn't do that with his clients. That's how he keeps his professionalism and gets new jobs. He said when he saw her butt half naked in the room, he said he wasn't comfortable. She got mad and told him to move the stuff anyway. And he believed that she did it as a way to kind of taunt him and I guess feel good about herself when he was uncomfortable. Is that sexual misconduct? I think it is. I think it can be. I think she's never probably gotten to know, so she doesn't know that her power makes that sexual misconduct as well. You see, we have to remember it's about the power, and it also the conversation is about how we grew up. So before I go on, Time to Work says, we out Christians, we out Muslims, and we now find out that we are out Romans the Romans. Big surprise. Yeah, and I expect that from Time to Work. That's exactly what it is. You ready for the allegations, Time to Work, because you know this stuff happens all the time. And I agree with you. Like, you can't be naive out here. You can't be naive enough to know that we live in a time where the people who have money and power can do whatever they want, circumvent laws, subvert laws, completely get different. Affluenza. You remember the affluenza pump? Rolled over 4 people drunk as hell, came back and got nothing but slap on the wrist after killing them because he was too affluent to know what he was doing. People who have power and money in this country, in this world, but especially in this country we call Babylon, I know you know that, Time to Work, can get away with anything. And when someone can get away with anything, human history tells us that they do. They do when they can. So that's why I'm kind of happy to see this tipping point, if you will. It sucks. It sucks that it's one of my favorite comedians is now in it. All the rest of them, I didn't care. I knew they was gross anyway. I've been around this entertainment industry enough to have seen enough. I can tell you, these people is super nasty, and if you go to their parties, there's things that go down there that you would not believe. But Louis C.K., god dang, man, he messed me up with that one, man. Messed me up with that one. Yeah, Affluenza classic. And I know you know Bloods, Crips, and Essays. You know that the people with power will use it. It's in our history. So, you know, I guess the next question is, what can we do about it? And I'm not that esoteric where I'm just going to be here giving what we need to do about it, especially without my partner and someone else to bounce it off of. But just what do you think, man? I mean, this whole entertainment industry, you know it was grimy, you know it was dirty, but are we going to look at that same video again the same way? I'm not. Every time I look at that next hip-hop video, like we can't be like them. Hip-hop comes from the gutter, and that's just the truth. But what we allow into the windows of our soul, our eyes, has to be monitored. And I don't know if I can just watch the video or listen to the lyrics about disrespecting and using women as objects. I don't even know if I can listen to women talk about using themselves as objects, because I think that they do that for the money and probably wouldn't if they had another way out of it. I don't know that for sure. There's some hoes out there. That's actually facts too. It's not sexist to say that, but to think that all of them are, that's when sexism shows its ugly head. Time to Work. Black men need to be in 2 places. Be in 2 places ASAP. And things will change immediately. The school and the police force. Facts. I'm with you on that. I'm actually working on a project right now called the Griot Project, where we go around to the libraries and in all of our neighborhoods where we stay. It's me and 4 other guys, and we teach history, teach Africanism, we teach everything that we can. Teach anything that we can. Music. Using music. We teach through music. We call it the Griot Project because I know that black men not being in the position of a teacher, without that, a lot of kids don't see them in any authority figure because only mom is at home most of the time. They don't know what it is to have a black man in a position of authority teaching them something. So you're right. Unfortunately, in the police force, though, time to work, for some reason, the black men that go into the police force, there's a percentage of them that no longer see themselves as part of the community, and they're some of the worst aggressors. Not just sexually, but racism. They're just like the white people. Because it's power. It has less to do with race, less to do with sex. It always has less to do with those things. It's always more to do with power. This is where we stand. And this is where we are. We need our own police force. That's facts. There's a lot of things that have to go into that before we can get there, though. We've got to start developing our own community. We've got to start growing our own food. We've got to start sharing our own resources. We've got to keep the black dollar in one place so we can actually afford to keep a police force that's well paid, well uniformed, and well instructed on the laws that we give them. So we do need our own police force, but there's a lot of things we need before we can even get there. And I want us to start thinking about that. First thing is, look in the mirror. How easily could we be? Appreciate that, Blood Scripts and Essays. How easily can we be Kevin Spacey? How easily can we be Jeremy Piven, Brett Ratner? How easily can we be Dustin Hoffman? Not with the nastiness and the grossness that I've been laughing at this whole time, but how easily can we take what power we have and abuse it and think it's normal? You see, when we forget, and I know there's an African proverb that I want to say here and I just can't get it right. When we forget to look at ourselves from the other person's point of view, it's very easy to become a monster and not even know it. And when people call you a monster, you cuss them out because it's impossible. I'm a great dad. I love my community. I do this, I do that. And they'll tell you, you have no idea who you hurt because you asked them a simple question, not thinking that your power influenced their answer. And I just want us to think about that. I just wanted to have that discussion. I just want to have that discussion before the shoe drops on the black folks, because they're coming, and we know it, because we're human too. So we got our own nasty people in our community that will get called out, Africa Bambaataa. No black man with honor will harm a black woman. And I agree. I also think, though, we have to look at it a little more layered. If you don't know, the whole point of this discussion is you may not know you're harming a woman. I honestly believe that when you're the CEO, or when you're, well, not the CEO, because there's laws for that, but when you're the entertainer, when you're the Tupac, or when you're the Bruce Lively, because you pay certain people, and people may watch you on your show and think you're cool, when you approach a woman or approach a situation, you approach it from your own perspective, and you may forget that the other person sees you in a different light and is conflicted with whatever question you may have asked them. So men of honor may have made the wrong mistake, but if you're watching this right now, you can look back and go, you know what? I might change that, or I might rethink how I do this. I might rethink how I do this, how I ask this question, how I approach this woman. I just might do it. And if we do that, we'll be good. We'll be good. Men of honor will be good. The rest of them, some people you're not going to be able to change. A lot of people. And we know that. We know that. Before I leave, I do want to talk about what you were talking about, time to work. Get this community on point. Get this community on point. We're going to start a grow channel so you can start learning how to grow your own food. Not so you can just be completely separate from society around you. We still need you to vote. We still need all ways of attacking the system, the systemic problems that we have. But one of them is being able to grow your own food. Being able to use marijuana as a medicine and not the opioids that's killing them, that's killing us. Voting for your own school board. School board, not president of America, school board, sheriff. And if you don't find anybody that's qualified for these community positions, run. Time to work. You should be running for something. As much as you come on here and spit that knowledge, somebody needs you somewhere. Councilman, dog catcher, family, run. And I'm serious. I'm serious. The revolution has started, and the sexual revolution, it's a new sexual revolution. It's a new sexual revolution. Now we're outing the nasty people, and we're discovering ourselves and how we may be putting something on somebody without even knowing it. As well as we're giving a platform for the people who have been abused or hurt in any way to be able to say something without retribution, without thinking that, no, I will never be believed because they're too powerful. That's going to be a thing of the past. In 2 years, that idea will be the thing of the past. Just like colored bathrooms and colored drinking fountains are a thing of the past. People thought it would never go away. Those white folks thought it would never happen. Let me tell you, this society in 2 years will not look like it does now. It won't. You having the power and someone being afraid to talk about it, you're working on it. Time to work. I like that. Bloods and Crips Essays, for sure. Y'all press that like button too, man. Don't leave me there with that 0 on there. Both of y'all been talking all this time. Press that like button. And a few other people been coming in and out. Press that like button. Subscribe. But yeah, it's not going to look the same. It will not look the same. You cannot be in power and expect someone to stay quiet, because this is gonna go on for about a year, I predict, and it's gonna be people who you respect and enjoy. It's gonna be people who we look up to in our community, and we're gonna have to make some really hard decisions. And it's for the better. We got to go through the fire, but it's for the better. And that's all I got. That's all I got. Get your communities up. Time to work. I like that. I like that, man. Keep preaching that. Let's learn how to defend ourselves. Let's learn how to feed ourselves. Let's learn how to teach ourselves, and let's spread that within our community. Let's let the black dollar stay in this community at least 7 times before it leaves. We need new leaders anyway. You're the new leader, Blood, Crips, and Essays. It's time we stop looking for Dr. King. It's time for us. I'm the new leader. That's why I'm doing this show. That's why me and D-Boy do this show. It's fun and games, yeah. But you see what we also talk about. We hope that if one person looks up to us, we are now the new leader. Ooh, time to work. I started a mentorship program 3 years ago. How's that going, by the way? Oh, my music is gone. Time to work. How's that going? Mentorship program. And is it specified for just, underprivileged kids, or is it all kids, or is it all adults even? Families? Talk to me about that. That's my joint too. Man, Louis C.K., boy. I like this stuff, man. I'm telling you. Yeah. Start 'em young. There's a saying in Jamaica that says you have to bend the tree from it young. You have to bend the tree from it young. That means if you want the tree to grow a certain way, you got to start it when it first pops out the ground. Got to bend the tree from when it's young if you want it to grow a certain way. So usually you're going to get a lot better progress. You're going to get a lot better results from the younger kids. And you mentor black boys. Well needed. Wait, I'm missing something. Jewish dollar exchange hands 12 times before leaving the community. Our money goes out right away. Exactly. You're right about controlling our money. And we're going to have some lessons and some talks about all of that, man. We're going to have some lessons about all of this that we're talking about. Number one, we're getting this medical marijuana thing on point, and so we can control the dollars. So it's not just, and the people who have been locked up for it have been black, but the people who make the money off of it in Colorado are all white owners. Isn't that funny? While the people who've been struggling in the game and actually know the market have been in jail for years. So we're trying to change that. Number one, we're starting with ourselves in the mirror. We're starting with our medicine, and we're starting with the teaching. Anything else you can do to make that happen? Shop black. Shop black. Learn how to grow some food. Get you a tomato garden, family. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. We spend 40 hours to earn money and 3 hours to spend it. Yeah. Yeah. How much of that is perpetuated in our music as well? Make it rain all day. I get money and it goes away. From the 1st to the 15th, I'm rich and I'm back at it again because I spent it all. Listen, and this is where we're at. I need to support the Fleetwood Spice Club collection. That's what it is, Fleetwood Spice collection. Been meaning to do it. Will soon. That's where we're at, people. You want to change? You want to make that dollar last? Don't buy McCormick. Don't buy it at the Kroger or the Jewels if you're in Chicago. Fleetwood Spice Collection. TheFleetwoodSpiceCollection.com. That's how you start by supporting a black business. Use the things that you use every day and find someone black who does it. We kind of went way off topic with this. We were supposed to be talking about Louis C.K. and the Charlamagne. But I think we discussed that very well, man. I appreciate everybody. Press that like button, y'all. Subscribe. Leave those comments down there when I get off. And we'll be back again. We'll be back again on Tuesday. We're giving away free spices all next week. Facts. We have no flagship business with all the money we spend. That's sad. Well, we're about to have some. Appreciate that, Blood, Scripts, and Essays. We're about to have some. Y'all support the business. Y'all support this show. Share it. That's how you support this business. Share it. And what you do, put it in them comments. Because you know we will also support that. We support each other. And that's how we do this. We learn from each other. And I hope that everybody's learned something from this discussion. I have. And I hope that everybody else gets a chance to learn something from this discussion. Because it's an important one that we have to have as men and as a society. That's it. Appreciate y'all. Buy them beats, man. The Basement.